Hello, welcome to Casual Veteran Gamer, and in the video today we are looking at Gale. He's next up in the companions. Find him by the roadside cliffs, ancient rune circle. He pops out at you. It's pretty difficult to not get him to be nice. I'm not going to go through the whole cutscene. I'm sure others have shown that before. You can just hit space, hit 1. Alright, you get through it. And he's on your team. Now when you find him, he will level up to whatever level you are. So I'm currently level 2. So he is level 2. And actually before I show that, let's have a look at him before we level up. So he's got this spread of stats. Importantly, his intelligence is 16, so he's got a +3 modifier to that. Most of his stats are above 10, apart from strength. He's a human, so he's got +1 to all his stats, so he doesn't have dark vision either. And he's a sage, which affects some of the inspiration experience we get and inspiration points. But otherwise, he's just your average wizard, to be honest. There's nothing particularly special about him, apart from what he likes to do to magic items. One other thing to look at is what spells he starts with. So he already has Firebolt, Mage Hand, and Ray of Frost. He's got Mage Armor, Fog Cloud, Witch Belt, Thunderwave, Sleep, and Grease. So when you level him up, immediately at level 2 you get to choose a subclass. Neither of these are particularly bad. Basically, if you want him to be slightly more aggressive, Evocation might be slightly better. I tend to go for Abjuration now because it keeps him alive for longer. The Evocation School means that when you cast an Evocation spell, if it has an area of effect, it won't affect your allies, it won't damage your allies. If you have the Abjuration School, you can get this kind of magical ward that you get when you cast Abjuration spells. There's not temporary hit points, it's kind of just an extra layer of hit points that you get. And every time you level up as a wizard, you get to choose a couple new spells. I would suggest mostly picking spells that we can't find on scrolls. I would normally pick up Magic Missile at level 2 anyway, just because I love to have this spell. And the main scrolls that we can't find on spells are Longstrider, Jump, and Chromatic Orb. I think at different points, most of the other spells can be found at Longstrider, Jump, and Chromatic Orb are all good spells. I'm going to go for Chromatic Orb. And the prepared spells, you can change this outside of the level up screen. It doesn't matter too much. So what I'm going to do immediately, in fact, I'm just going to use a scroll of Mage Armor just to save a spell slot. And we can see we now have this Arcane Ward, which at the moment is 7 hit points. And if we come to this screen, so the Arcane Ward has a maximum of 2 × 2 + 3. That 2 × 2 will be 2 times the wizard level that Gale has, so he's currently level 2. +3, that +3 comes from his intelligence modifier. So whenever you take damage, you initially take damage from the Arcane Ward before going to temporary hit points or just the normal hit points. So in effect, he currently has 21 hit points, which is higher than either Shadowheart or my Sorcerer Tav here. And by using the scroll, it means I didn't use up a spell slot, which means I can now switch out for something else. Yeah, most of these are decent spells. Witch Bolt, maybe not so good actually, unless the enemy is wet. So what we'll do is we'll go free Lae'zel. You can see him in action. With Gale, as I said earlier, the main thing about him is he's a wizard. He doesn't get any special abilities, special perks, and so this video is a bit like just how to make it a wizard. Get rid of them. So I'm going to attack the Tieflings just to get into a fight to see how this all works out. Oh, look at that, he gets to go first. So at the low levels, Sleep is going to be a great spell. Because, who's this? Demaze. If I target Demaze, then he will miss his turn. Or I can get an automatic critical hit. Let's just try that. Put him to sleep. Then get my Sorcerer.
Don't waste a step.
And you can cast any spell you want. I can cast Chromatic Orb. It says 100%. It's going to be a critical hit. If you want to be doubly cheeky, you can hopefully aim 2 Chromatic Orbs at him. It's a bit more difficult. There we are. 27 and 28, 55 damage, not bad. So we saw Gale just got hit there. He took 8 hit points of damage. Took 8 damage, but he's only lost 1 hit point because the Arcane Ward got used up first. And now, he doesn't just have to be about controlling, he can be damaging. He's got Chromatic Orb himself. So let's just do this. Alright, even though he missed a critical miss, Nemessa still got electrocuted, and we can carry on. So in that fight, I used up all of his spell slots, and as a wizard, he gets this Arcane Recovery, so we can recover 2 level 1 spell slots, or 1 level 2 spell slot once he's got those available. So yeah, that's a quick introduction to Gale and a wizard. We'll look at the other levels soon enough. After opening up the Book of Dead Gods, Gale gets inspiration, he gets some experience, and it's just enough in my current playthrough to level him up to level 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. At level 3, he can cast level 2 spells and get some level 2 spell slots. So then you get a choice of spells. I'm not going to go through all the spells, but just a few mentions for level 2. Shatter is a good AoE spell. Scorching Ray actually works quite well with a few different items. And Hex, if you want to get that at level 4. Misty Step is always good. Mirror Image is always good. Hold Person can be good. Flaming Sphere is good. Enlarge Reduce if you want to be playing as a more team player. and Cloud of Daggers would be good for him as well. Obviously pick whatever you want. Everyone's got their favourite spells. I do like to have some sort of AoE. Let's go for Cloud of Daggers and then maybe Scorching Ray. And there's no other choice of anything to do at level 3. And also, since I'm here, we have picked up a few scrolls, and Gale, being a wizard, can, well, it says right here, wizards can also use it to learn this spell. Currently, wizards can learn from any spell scroll, pretty much. They can even learn cleric spells, what are known as divine spells in the Forgotten Realms. And this does include cantrips, but for example, I know Lazel's got some Scroll of Burning Hands. This is quite nice because at the moment we've only got cantrips, level 1 spells and level 2 spells. If you right click, oh, he already knows Fireball, never mind. If you right click on the level 1 spell, he doesn't know, let's say learn spell, 50 gold, it's cost some gold. It's also 50 gold for a cantrip, well worth the price. And level 2 spells are 100 gold. So I'm going to go ahead and make him learn Burning Hands, and just for the sake of it, Ray of Enfeeblement. You can see my gold is going down, but he is learning spells, and I could learn if I wanted to Guiding Bolt. I personally don't like doing this, but I know other people are fine with it. You do you. Learn what other spells you want him to learn. If he does learn any abjuration spells, it doesn't really tell you what school they're from until you've learnt them, but I do know that Protection from Evil and Good is an abjuration spell. If I go ahead and do that, and then I have to make him prepare these spells. So there we are, level 1 abjuration spell. Let's cast it level 1. Since he's an Abjuration Wizard, he gets his Arcane Ward, and it's now at 9 hit points because he's gone up a level, so it's 2 times 3 plus 3. But he is concentrating on this, and if he does lose concentration on it, for at least Protection from Evil and Good, he loses the Arcane Ward. I don't really think that's supposed to be how it happens, but that's currently how it does happen as of patch 6. I'm assuming that will change later. The number of spells he knows is based off his Wizard level plus his Intelligence modifier. So as he levels up, he can prepare 1 extra spell, and as his Intelligence modifier increases, if it increases, it goes up also. It's currently at 6 because his level is 3 and his Intelligence modifier is 3. And if you really wanted to, although it wouldn't be very clever to do this, you can make, oh, I don't have enough level 2 spells, but you can have as many level 2 spells prepared as you want, and as many level 1 spells prepared as you want. Well, I want Cloud of Daggers. He's already got Mage Armor, so I don't need that. After you have you, and I can learn 3 more, maybe Sleep. Thunderwave's always cool. Do you know what? Let's go with Scorching Ray. You should probably always be on the lookout for scrolls at traders and seeing what scrolls you might like. I'm going to buy Rare Frost. It's good to have extra cantrips because they don't take spell slots. And there won't be a huge amount more to be buying inside traders for Gale for the most part. Maybe we'll give him Spell Thief so he can recover a spell slot once every short rest, which is nice. But he can't wear any armor, so we don't need to bother looking at any of the armor. He isn't really going to be using any arrows because he may as well use a cantrip, and weapons don't really matter. We'll find a nice weapon for him. In fact, Rain Dancer is a good weapon for him. It's nice to give him the option to do that. There'll be a nice staff later down in the Underdark, but I'll get to that. What Rain Dancer does, it just gives you the create water spell. Now, it might not seem amazing, but he doesn't normally have access to that, so let's equip that. And what it can do is if a target is wet, then they take double damage from cold and lightning, which can go very well with some of the spells he has, and especially some of the spells that sorcerers have. And it means you don't need to prepare it on your cleric, if you have a cleric. I'm just going to make him learn Rare Frost, because he's already knows Rare Frost. Never mind, that was a bit silly of me. So I'm just going to go pick up Spell Thief for him, down from Auntie Ethel. I've spoken about that in a few videos now. Auntie Ethel also has Corellan's Grace, which isn't such a bad staff to have. So if the wielder is attacked while not wearing armor, which Gale doesn't, they receive a 1d4 bonus to saving throws. It's okay. If you want to be a bit more defensive, give that to him. If you want him to have Rain Dancer, give that to him. Maybe carry around both staves. It's fine. Spell Thief, he is not proficient with it, but can give him an extra spell slot if he gets a critical hit, which you can do by attacking a knocked out creature or a creature that is slept. But if you're using a level 1 spell slot to gain the level 1 spell slot, it's not necessarily worth it. I just want to point out that in the Whispering Depths, if you are picking your spells when you have a level up based on what spells you don't find from spell scrolls, there's a nice little chest here. You've got invisibility, mage armor, although it already has that, mage armor, magic missile, and web. There's also guiding bolt. Well, let's learn this. Anyway, yeah, you will find stashes of scrolls around all over the place. You have to be on the lookout for them. While in the Whispering Depths, if you kill the Face Spider Matriarch, she has the Poisonous Robe. Now, this isn't really needed for Gale, but he doesn't have much else to put here, apart from maybe the Summer Robe, which gives him resistance to cold damage, but cold damage is barely ever done to you, if ever. So you may as well put this on, but otherwise I wouldn't worry too much about his chest piece there. At level 4, we have quite a few choices to make. We get one new choice of cantrip. There aren't a huge number of cantrips on spell scrolls, so you do have to pick quite carefully. Since he is human, it could be useful to give him one of the light cantrips, although other members of the party can do that. Acid Splash is nice just to have an AoE cantrip. The damage is low, it is a saving throw, so it's not likely to hurt many enemies at once, but it is nice to have the option when you want it. Shocking Grasp is also useful to get out of situations where he is for some reason in melee range, and he can use this instead of disengage. Of course you might miss though, so pick what you want. I'm going to go with Acid Splash. Then you get to pick 2 more spells, and one really important thing to take note of here is Gale already knows Invisibility and Web, yet I could waste my 2 spell choices here. If you're not sure, just press cancel, click on this button in the top right and go and check your spells. So I know he doesn't have Shatter, and I quite like Shatter. And for the other spell, quite a lot of these are concentrated. Misty Step, right? He hasn't got Misty Step. And I'm not going to give him the Misty Step necklace, so it's good for him to have that. The prepared spells, you can change at any point, so I'm not going to worry about that. Then for the ability score improvement, or the feat, I think one of the obvious safe things to do is Intelligence +2. That makes his Intelligence 18, and then gives him +1 to spell attack rolls. His spell save DC goes up by 1, and he can memorize 1 more spell, prepare 1 more spell, which is nice. As for feats, there aren't a huge number of feats currently available that really work well with Gale or any wizard. Magic Initiate Warlock is pretty good. You get 2 more cantrips, though they use Charisma as the casting modifier, so perhaps you want to take cantrips that don't use a modifier, like Minor Illusion and Blade Ward. 2 good choices, or maybe Friends if you want him to be speaking to people for your party. As for the spells, the obvious one, the only reason you'd really take this is Hex, and I think I'm going to take Hex just to show you what it can do. If you're going to take Hex, I would strongly advise one of your spells being, at some point, Scorching Ray, or you learn it from a spell scroll. But yeah, aside from this, there aren't really any feats that synergize well with a wizard. If you're really worried about his number of hit points, even as an Abjuration wizard, tough is always good. There's no real point in picking Lightly Armored because he can use Mage Armor anyway, which has a base armor class of 13, which is the best light armor we can currently get in the game, so I wouldn't worry about that. And a lot of these are melee focused, so yeah, I would avoid most of these because the other magic initiates, none of them use Intelligence as the spellcasting modifier, so I would avoid them. And the rest are kind of martial based, which is not. So Magic Initiate Warlock, tough, or Intelligence +2 are the real feats that are probably going to be the best choices. You will find that Gale will speak to you every now and again. This is quite interesting. He's got his mirror image. One of them's got a bow. One of them's got a staff. Anyway, he'll speak to you every now and again, and eventually he will want to eat magic items to stave off some sort of, I guess you could kind of condition where the whole of Faerun could blow up, the whole of Toril could blow up, who knows. And there are certain magic items that he will want to consume. If you don't want to give up magic items, then you can not and ignore him, and eventually he'll go to Raphael and make a deal behind your back. Who knows? In the early access that has no implications, but I'm fairly certain that in the future it will. So you have to make your choice carefully. It would be a good idea if you save Councillor Floric from the burning building at Joaquin's Rest, because she will give you a magic item that would do well on Gale. So we save her, and then we get the choice of the Glowing Shield or Circlet of Fire. Go for the Circlet of Fire. When you deal fire damage with a non-cantrip spell, gain a bonus action. It's okay, it's nice to have. He doesn't have many choices for the helmet slot or the head slot, so you may as well give him the Helmet of Fire. Right, next up we're going to be heading into the Underdark to pick up several more items. So I was quite lucky, and this Minotaur is surprised, and Gale gets to go first. So what we can do on our turn is cast Hex, using a bonus action, and then Scorching Ray, 36% chance because of the lack of light. So what I'm going to do first is just attack with a normal thing. There we are. You attack, get an extra 2 damage from Hex, and then I'm going to help him out. I've already cast light onto Lae'zel here, so I'm just going to get it close by. So hopefully now, yeah, we don't have disadvantage. So what we can do, hide right on the edge of the vision there. Scorching Ray, 3 hits, 84% chance is pretty good. And then what, 3 of those hit. You can see 3 sets of damage from Hex. Alright, 7, 3, 2, 12 damage there, plus another 7. So doing okay. And we got an extra bonus action now on Gale. It's not necessarily the most useful, but you could cast Hex on somebody else. You could use Misty Step, you could hide again, jump, shove. I mean, I guess you could give him 2 hand crossbows. Again, he isn't proficient with hand crossbows or anything, but it's just an extra attack, you know, why not? But there'll be times where you wish you did have an extra bonus action, because casting Hex does cost a bonus action, and getting another bonus action later is useful. So, in fact, he is going to hide, because he'll often get targeted because of his relatively low armor class. But now he's out of the way and hidden, Lae'zel takes a club to the face. Down in the Underdark, you will find Blurg in the Myconid colony, and it's got a few interesting items, all of which here could be useful for Gale. The Sapphire Spark, I would say, is a must, because Gale can cast Magic Missile several times every long rest, especially when he uses Arcane Recovery for level 1 spell slots and uses Spell Thief after every short rest. The Circlet of Blasting could be okay for him, because he will benefit from having a fire spell. It means he doesn't have to prepare Scorching Ray, but it does mean he can't get a bonus action if he uses it. And also Sunwalker's Gift is also pretty good because it will give Gale Dark Vision, which he doesn't currently have as a human. I'm going to take the Circlet of Blasting, mostly because I don't take it very often on anyone, so it'd be quite nice to use it, you know, at some point. And we'll stick these onto Gale. Let's give him the Circlet of Blasting for now, and the Sapphire Spark. Another alternative for him is Ilmater's Aid, which is found in Priestess's Gut private chamber, just in the chest near where Palmer the Ogre hangs around. But I'm going to keep him with the Sapphire Spark. And then, just to make sure I don't use the wrong thing, no, Unprepare, Scorching Ray, and give him Shatter. So here we can use this only once per long rest, so you could use it and then in the next fight just take it off and replace it with Circlet of Blasting. Now while we are down in the Underdark, there are a couple more items to pick up. So what you will want to do is go and help out Glut. To do that we first have to help out Spore, and then go and help our old Baelen and Dareth Bonecloak. Anyway, Baelen Bonecloak, and I will show you the rewards that are worth it. So you go and help Baelen Bonecloak come out of the east exit of the Myconid colony. You'll see this Biverbank field. Get down there and go and save Baelen. I've sent Shadowheart down here. She's got a good enough strength score. She's got dark vision. She can cast light. It's easy to see where you're going. Jump up on the left. Avoid the Biverbangs. There are other ways to do this. It's just an easy way that any character can do. Just for safety's sake, pick up the torch. It's just me. You don't need to do that. Find Baelen's backpack and throw it over to him. Don't throw it at him, he might not appreciate it so much. And then he's safe and he'll Misty Step out of there. There he goes. Can't even see him anymore. Right, so I'm going to get back. I left the rest of my characters up over here, so when Baelen gets back we can get our reward. There he is. He's made it back. Anyway, leave him alone. There we are. After speaking to Dareth Bonecloak, we get a reward. The Gloves of Flint and Steel, or the Gloves of Fire Resistance. I'd go for the Gloves of Flint and Steel. When the wearer deals fire damage, the target has to make or succeed on a Constitution saving throw or start burning. Yes please, we'll take that. Gale, make sure you give him the right gloves, because the Gloves of Power and the Gloves of Flint and Steel look the same. And then we need to go and help out Glut. So after killing the Duergar at the beach, Glut wants you to go to the Myconid colony and kill Spore for you. And I think it was in patch 6. I don't know if it happened before patch 6. But if you do go to the Myconid colony and, well not, Spore's time is done. If we go there and you just kill Spore, you don't have to fight the rest of the Myconid colony. But I would say be very careful with any surface effects you may or may not have, because that could potentially aggro some of the kind of neutral Myconids in the colony. So we're going to go here. What are we going to do? Let's just start off showing off what the Sapphire Spark does. Haven't actually shown that yet. So what it does is to every magic missile that you attack with and hit with, it does an extra 1d4 psychic damage. Now lots of enemies are going to join the battle. And so it did, what, 26 damage? It was a level 2 spell slot, okay, but it did 26 damage. Alright, this is all a bit strange. Glut hasn't joined in. He's been pacified. Fair enough. Right. So what we're going to do, just focus on Sovereign. 91% chance, pretty good. Not far to go. You can hear people attacking and stuff in the background. Use Menacing Attack. There we are. And now Spore is dead, and you can see everyone's gone neutral. There is no more fighting. We don't have to clear out the whole of the Myconid colony. Just going to go find Glut now. Alright, let him speak. Alright, it says go kill the drow. Then before we do that, you get to choose the Featherlight Boots. When the wearer has 50% hit points or less, the movement speed is increased by 10 feet. Gale doesn't want that. Gale wants the Ring of Fire. When dealing fire damage, the wearer deals an additional 1 fire damage. Yes, please. We'll take that. Of course, if Gale does manage to die, we get this little cutscene that you have to follow the instructions exactly as he gives them to revive Gale. Otherwise, his body hangs around, dealing necrotic damage. So make sure you do pay attention to his description. If you have to, make notes as he speaks, or take screenshots as he speaks. Go through the steps, retrieve the pouch. Purple seam counterclockwise. Start on the bottom right, and the third one here. So we best get to it. So we have this pouch. use it. We have to go through this process once again. Thread counterclockwise. We get this flute with the scroll. Double click on the flute.
Gale kept on his person.
Play the notes. Bottom right is D. So basically D-E-A-D. Dead. Not exactly good code. So let's try it. What's floating in midair there? D. Don't hear anything. E, A, and D. There's the magma method. This one is Chokrash. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. Hand over Gale's letter. He'll breathe on it. I don't know if we get to see that. And now we've got a scroll of true resurrection, which we can use on Gale. There we are. Still does some necrotic damage. Thank you, Gale. Take a short rest. And not surprisingly, he wants to speak to you. And so now we've got this flute. Let's just have a quick look at what we can do here.
That Kashitrach Ash has done his duty. The flute's duty too.
Oh, we can't use it again. After defeating Bernard, put on the Ring of Guiding Light, which gives the light cantrip, which I haven't given Gale already, so it's a nice small addition. But more importantly, when you come close to the elevator, you can go straight to the basement, and we find a pretty cool staff in here. Find the Staff of Arcane Blessing. Now, I might not necessarily give this to Gale, depends on how many things you want him concentrating on, but what it does, it gives the ability to cast Bless, but it's like a double strength Bless for when you want to use spell attack rolls. So I'll go and test this out in a second. So I'm going to cast this Bless. Gale doesn't normally have Bless unless you make him learn it from the scroll, I suppose, or uses a scroll. I'm just going to pause it so it doesn't run out. You've got normal Bless, has a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and saving throws, and then Mistra's Blessing, additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and an additional 2d4 to spell attack rolls. This is quite fitting for Gale considering his background with Mistra. Coming over this way, unfortunately it requires concentration, so I shouldn't use Hex and Bless. If you try and use Hex and Bless, well, whichever one you cast first will get cancelled out when you cast the second one. But you can see, even if I wouldn't be able to hit the Gnoll-Flesh Nora, I've got advantage because I'm hidden, but 1d4 from Bless and an extra 1d4 from Mistra's Blessing. If I try and shoot, I only have 1d4, not an extra 1d4, because it's not a magic attack roll. So what I'm going to do is try and speed this up. Use some haste spores, give himself haste, getting closer. And then use Scorching Ray. Should I use it on 3? Actually, if I use it on a single target, it should kill them. 1, 2, 3. And hopefully we'll see some lovely damage here on the side. So we did the 3 sets of damage from Scorching Ray. That was 19, 27. Okay, that was enough to kill the Unogu anyway. Then, because of the ring and the gloves, we've got extra 1 fire damage from Burning Fury, 1 fire damage, an extra 3, an extra 1, so they failed the Constitution saving throws, so they were set on fire, and yeah, that was probably more than necessary. So let's, this time, I can hide. I've got an extra bonus action because I cast a non-cantrip fire spell, but 1 on each, it won't kill all of them. It won't even kill 1 of them. Just a bit easier to see all the damage. Right, all of them passed their Constitution saving throws, I think, but they all still took 1 extra fire damage, which is pretty cool. Right, this time I want to show off Hex again. So now Mistra's Blessing is gone because I'm concentrating on Hex. I've got 1 more use of Scorching Ray. It's only a 55% chance to hit this time. I can't hide, so I'm hoping at least one of these hits. Ooh, critical miss, that's not very nice. That did not work out particularly well. Only 1 of the 3 hit because of the low hit chance. It rolled quite low on its damage, and then the necrotic damage was only 2. I think what I'm going to do is spend my action to put on Circlet of Blasting. Now, Gale just lost concentration, but that's not really the end of the world. Everything will be fine. Okay, what I'm hoping here is I will be able to hold this Gnoll-Flesh Nora. I've got 2 goes because Shadowheart is inside the haste spores. There we are, hold person. So now I can come here. They are still they're not still hexed. That's okay. Because Hex is currently bugged, we can cast it 6 times per long rest. And because I've got the Circlet of Blasting on, when you stand within about 5 feet of an enemy that is held or sleep, you get automatic critical hits. Or with a Druid who has wild chipped into a wolf and used Exposing Bite. So everything will be a critical hit here. Obviously completely over the top. Did not need that, but just want to show off, do set it up correctly, that you can get a nice amount of damage out there. So that there is 45 damage from the critical Scorching Rays alone, plus an extra 1 per Scorching Ray because of the ring. It doesn't look like it failed its Constitution saving throws, so the gloves of Flint and Steel didn't take effect. But then the hex damages got doubled also. Like we've got critical hit on the hex, got 2d6, an extra 16 there. So if you can set this up, you can really hurt people very quickly. This would be very good against the Githyanki patrol, for example. Now there's just one Gnoll hunter left. He's got the Sapphire Spark on and takes care of that, no problem. So let me know whether you use Gale. How will you use him? Do you make him an evocation wizard instead? Do you give him the same items as I have? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found some useful information there. If you made it this far, please do consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.